Welcome, friend. Welcome to Morrowind. Welcome back to Morrowind, friends. I hope you've had as pleasant a week as circumstances permit, and that the world is being kind to you and the people you love. I could probably keep rambling on in that vein for a while, but it would seem counterproductive. So, welcome instead to Vvardenfell, a place with endemic slavery, cursed by friendly gods allegedly, under attack by deeply unfriendly gods, suffering from a literal supernatural plague, rife with corruption and banditry and murder, controlled by a broadly hostile empire that is somehow nonetheless oddly cozy, all things considered. I'm glad to have you here. If you find yourself in need of other calm, good-natured, and pleasantly voiced gamers, not that I would ever put myself in their august company, who record stuff on YouTube and perform on Twitch, then I would recommend you seek out Avak, Aavak, Gab Smolders, Gabsmolders, Just Background Noise, with no peculiar spellings, and Super Great Friend. The four of them have got me through a lot of trying times, and between them they put out a jaw-dropping amount of material, particularly Avak, who seems to sleep about 4 hours a night, as far as I can tell, and regularly does 18-hour Twitch streams of things like Factorio and RimWorld and other strategic games that reward a thoughtful approach. If I could, I'd be here providing hours of distraction as well, but unfortunately I have landlords and a stomach and cats and things like that. So, with that preamble said, I will try to put some names into either the video description or a comment below the video if I remember. I'm a little distracted nowadays. I don't promise I will remember, but I promise I'll try. And let's go and bother Caius and see what he has for us to do, shall we? Daddy, we're home. Hello, Caius.
Are you here to discuss your orders, or is there something else you want?
I'm here to discuss my orders. Well, one look at you and anyone can see you're an experienced adventurer. That can be your cover identity. Around here, freelance adventurers are as thick as fleas on a guar. You'll want to keep active in that line just to avoid unwanted attention. So, I have orders for you whenever you're ready. Thank you, Caius. What are those orders? Go talk to Hasfat Antibolus at the Balmora Fighters Guild. Ask him what he knows about the Nerevarine secret cult and the Sixth House secret cult. You'll have to do him a favour first. Probably an ugly favour, but do it. Then get the information from Antibolus and report back to me. By the way, Hasfat is a student of Morrowind history. Take the chance to get a little education. And I have a few history books in here. Help yourself, you're welcome to them. No point in being part of history if you're too ignorant to understand it. So tell me about Hasfat. He's the drill master of the Balmora Fighters Guild. He's lived in Morrowind all of his life, knows the natives, and talks a lot with backcountry mercenaries. He thinks of himself as a scholar, and he's particularly interested in Dwemer ruins and artifacts. Okay, what do you know about the Nerevarine? Some Dunmer believe that an orphan and outcast, a youth born on a certain day to uncertain parents, will one day unite all the tribes of the Dunmer, drive out the invaders of Morrowind, and re-establish the ancient laws and customs of the Dark Elven nations. They call this orphan and outcast the Nerevarine, and say the Nerevarine will be a reincarnation of the long-dead Dunmer General and First Councillor, Lord Indoril Nerevar. And what about the 6th house? A trusted informant says there is a secret cult associated with some strange events recently, and, more important, my informant thinks these recent disturbances are related in some way to the Nerevarine prophecies. So they have a prophecy, do they? The illiterate Ashlanders pass down their customs and history in the form of poetic verses. Among the things they preserve in verse are the dreams and prophetic visions of their wise women, in particular the verses that foretell the coming of the Nerevarine. But I don't know much about it. That's why I'm sending you to find out. Okay. And you have a whole load of stuff I could ask you about, don't you? What do you know about Corporus disease? I don't know much about it. I've never seen a case myself. You can get it from contact with the red mountain monsters they call Corporus beasts. I think it's like a blight disease, only worse. It usually drives victims mad and causes terrible deformed growths on the body. I'll check my informants and find out how to cure it. In the meantime, just follow your orders. I don't know what else to do. You mentioned the Ashlanders. I know the Blades are your people. The Commander Tong, what do you have to say about them? The Commander Tong is Morrowind's native criminal syndicate. They're tough and ruthless, and have connections in the higher ranks of House Hlalu. The Commander Tong competes directly with the Thieves' Guild for control of illegal trade, and the Commander Tong will not tolerate competition. Compared with the Commander Tong, the Thieves' Guild is relatively decent and honourable. They're certainly less brutal. They don't accept Outlanders as members. Forget about it. What do you know about soul sickness? That sounds grim. That's the temple name for being crazy. The Dunmer are humorless bastards. They don't like strange behaviour. Makes them nervous. Eccentric isn't charming to them, it's dangerous. The natives are very tight-cheeked, and you will be too if you want to avoid unwanted attention. Alright, fine. I will try to behave myself. Got any advice? About doing quests for factions. If you try to complete every task you're given, sooner or later you'll run into trouble. Don't assume that just because someone gives you a job you ought to be able to complete it. When you get a job that's over your head, be patient. Go do something else for a while. Come back when you're tougher, better skilled, and better equipped. That is good advice. I'm not going to ask about individual people until we need to know about them. You already talked about the Ashlanders a bit, but what else can you say about them? I don't know much about the Ashlanders. Most people say they're murderous savages, but most people are idiots. I know they hate their settled Dunmer cousins almost as much as they hate Westerners. They must be tough to live in the Ashlands. I don't think Outlanders can become members of their tribes. I don't know anyone would want to. Alright, thanks Caius. Let's go and talk to Hazfat, shall we? The Fighters Guild, he said.
Quickly, Outlander. I haven't much time.
See, you say that, but in fact you have all of eternity, my friend. Hate to break it to you. So if Hazfat is the drill master,
Right,
he's probably down here in one of these training rooms, isn't he? Or wherever the training room is. Ah,
Yes.
You want something, friend?
I do. Good day, Sarah. So you're with Caius, eh? And Caius wants information? Of course, there's a this for that involved. I require a favour first, and then I'll tell you what you want to know. Okay. How can I help? There are Dwemer ruins nearby called Arkngthand. I need you to run over there and find me a little cube with a circular design and some symbols on one side. It's called a Dwemer puzzle box. Bring me back the Dwemer puzzle box and I'll tell you what you want to know. Alright? No problem. What can you say about Arkngthand? The old Dwemer ruins at Arkngthand are extensive on the surface and underground. Head south out of town past the Siltstrider port, then cross bridges over the Odai River. At the signpost, head north toward Caldera. Immediately on the right, see a signpost for Molag Mar. Turn right and head uphill on an old road to cross an ancient Dwemer bridge over the Foyada Marmea. The entrance to Arkngthand is on the east side of the Foyada, south of the bridge. Turn a crank on a pipe nearby to open the doors. I bet you're just going to ask me if I have it, but is there anything more you can tell me about the puzzle box? Oh, okay. The little cube I'm looking for is about the size of a fist, maybe a little bigger. It'll be made of a coppery metal, with a circular design and symbols on one side and some lined marks on the other sides. That's all I want, that little cube. Tell me about the disappearance of the dwarves. The disappearance of the dwarves predates imperial written records. Dunmer oral accounts record that the Dwemer were utterly destroyed by the gods for profane practices and impiety. Dwarven ruins are scattered across Tamriel, and weapons, armour, housewares, coins and other items of Dwemer design are often found. But the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of the dwarves remains one of Tamriel's greatest mysteries. And what can you tell me about Morrowind history? I won't bore you blathering about history, that's what Caius is for, but if you're really interested, try On Morrowind, the Imperial Province by Eramanwe of Sunhold. I have an extra copy you can have. What an adventurer like you really needs is a sense of current events. Who hates who? Where's trouble brewing? That's where opportunity lies for an outlander like you. On Morrowind has been added to your inventory. I'll be back in a moment. 13 minutes, 30 seconds. So. Hello. Hello? Vediamo? Okay. Coming back at 15 minutes and 15. So, about a minute and a half. On Morrowind has been added to your inventory. Interesting. I think I'll read that. But tell me about current events. The great houses hate each other. Theft, murder, assassination, secret raids, standard stuff. The temple is trying to kill off a rebellious faction called the Dissident Priests. Ashland and nomads raid each other, attack traders and pilgrims. A secret cult is killing off imperial citizens. All bad enough. The real problem, though, is the blight, monsters and diseases. The natives say it comes from Red Mountain. It's been a local problem for years, but lately it's gotten badly out of control. How relatable. I'll ask you about the Nerevarine and the 6th house afterwards. More Morrowind history? Caius says he's fed up with heroes. The Empire keeps sending them out here to the provinces to civilize things. The fools don't seem to realize that their destinies have been created by historical processes, and they're too ignorant and impatient to understand it. So Caius sends you to me, hoping you'll be different. Poor Caius, so many disappointments. So maybe you'll read on Morrowind and learn something about current events? That's what I recommend. I am actually about to do that. Thank you. So, on Morrowind. On Morrowind, the Imperial Province, by Eramanwe of Sunhold. After the conquest of Hammerfell, Imperial legions massed along the northeastern borders of Cyrodiil, and invasion fleets prepared in Skyrim. Initially, though the Imperial legions and navy were widely considered undefeatable, House Indoril and the temporal hierarchy proposed to resist to the death. Redoran and Dres stood by Indoril, with Telvanni remaining neutral. Hlalu proposed accommodation. Contrived border incidents in the Black Marsh ended inconclusively, but the swampy terrain did not favour Legion and Navy coordination. Against the legions massed west of Silgrad Tower and Kraganmore, and the legions west of Blacklight and Comaris View, Morrowind had pitifully small militias, stiffened by small companies of Redoran mercenaries and elite units of House Nobles and Temple Ordinators and Armigers. Further complicating matters was the refusal of Indoril, Dres, Hlalu and Telvanni to garrison the western borders. Indoril and Dres proposed, rather than to defend the western border, instead to withdraw to the interior and fight a guerrilla war. With Hlalu advocating accommodation and Telvanni remaining neutral, Redoran therefore faced the prospect of standing alone against the Empire. The situation changed radically when Vivek appeared in person in Vivek City to announce his negotiation of a treaty with Emperor Tiber Septim, reorganizing Morrowind as a province of the Empire but guaranteeing all rights of faith and self-government. A shocked temple hierarchy, which apparently had not been consulted, greeted the announcement with awkward silence. Indoril swore they would resist to the death with the loyal support of Dres, while Redoran, grateful for a graceful excuse to avoid facing the legions unsupported, joined with Hlalu in welcoming the agreement. Telvanni, seeing which way the wind blew, joined with Hlalu and Redoran in supporting the treaty. Nothing is known of the circumstances of the personal meeting between Septim and Vivek or where it took place, or the preliminaries which must have preceded the treaty. The public reason was to protect the identities of the agents involved. In the West, speculation is centered around the role of Zurin Arctus in brokering the agreement. In the East, rumors suggested that Vivek offered Numidium to aid in the conquest of Altmer and Somerset Isle in return for significant concessions to preserve self-rule, house tradition and religious practices in Morrowind. The Lord High Councillor of the Ground Council, an Indoril, refused to accept the treaty and refused to step down. He was assassinated and replaced by Hlalu. House Hlalu took the opportunity to settle some old scores with House Indoril, and a number of local councils changed hands in bloody coups. More blood was shed in these inter-house struggles than against the Imperial legions during Morrowind's transition from an independent nation to a province of the Empire. The generals of the legions had dreaded an invasion of Morrowind. The Dunmer were widely regarded as the most dreadful and fanatic foes, further inspired by their temple and clan traditions. The generals had not grasped the political weaknesses of Morrowind, which Emperor Tiber Septim recognized and exploited. At the same time, given the tragic depopulation and destruction experienced by the other provinces conquered by Septim, and the swift and efficient assimilation of Morrowind into the imperial legal systems and economy, with relatively small impact on lower or upper classes of Morrowind citizens, the tribunal also deserves some credit for recognizing the hopelessness of Morrowind's defense, and the chance of gaining important concessions at the treaty table by being the first to offer peace. By contrast, many Indoril nobles chose to commit suicide rather than submit to the Empire, with the result that the house was significantly weakened during the period of transition, guaranteeing that they would lose much of their influence and power to House Hlalu, whose influence and power was waxing with its enthusiastic accommodation with the Empire. The temple hierarchy more skillfully managed their loss of face, remaining aloof from political struggles, and earning the goodwill of the people by concentrating on their economic, educational, and spiritual welfare. All of which is part of the reason why House Indoril and House Dres don't really have much presence on Vvardenfell, and only the three primary houses here have any significant political clout. Although we will see in Doril and Dres in much greater detail in the rest of the province once we're off the island. So, thank you, Hersfat. I consider myself suitably enlightened.
Welcome, friend.
So, Arkngthand. It's the first Dwemer ruin that most players encounter. It's rather snazzy, to be honest. I've always liked the place. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it looks in this pack. That's it in the distance, just past the fort. You can see up here on the skyline. I'm not convinced that the Dwemer puzzle box is in the usual position. I have a vague sense that maybe it's been moved by a mod, but then again, it's been quite a while and I can't really clearly remember anyway, so who cares? It'll be a voyage of discovery for all of us. And there's bridges up here somewhere. Oh yeah, here we go. And as I remember, there's a lunatic on the bridge. Let us be prepared to greet our lunatic.
You're hardly a match for me.
Ow. Well, Snowy old chap, it's been a pleasure. You don't have anything worth taking. What a sad indictment. You, however, very nice. Gems and money. Who just leaves random gems in a big crate on a bridge in the middle of nowhere? I wonder. Snowy, maybe? I suppose he could have been stashing loot. That's the handle we were told to twist, and there we go. Ooh, yes. Definitely pretty. Do I have to twist it again, or does it start going? No, it starts going. Yes. Beautiful. So, Dwarven ruins are pretty dangerous. Obviously, different ruins, differently dangerous. Typically speaking, Arkngthand is designed as your first experience of Dwemer ruins, so it's fairly simple. I'm sure that... Yes, I was about to say, I'm sure that it's been modded to make it more... entertaining.
Not today.
What, are you just running away? Frink. Frink, you have unfortunate tactics. That's worth nabbing, I guess. Just. I mean, it's not quite on the ratio, but... Surus. Yeah, one of those is enough. So, just a pair of tomb robbers, I suppose. Flynn. Very nice. Big stack of Flynn will get you through just about anything. Let's wander this way. The textures are really crisp. I love the way that it looks like there's a circuit-inspired design in the walls.
You're bested.
That's not correct, Christus. I thought for a moment it was called Citrus. That would be an interesting name for a Nord. Citrus Lime. New headcanon accepted. Is that ebony? It is. Very nice. Very legal to traffic in, of course. I'll take one piece of scrap because it has alchemical properties, but it's a bit heavy for the ratio. Interesting how that one was 3 and 13, this one 4 and 20. Curious. I assume that kind of "yah" noise is the hydraulics. Bit showy.
I've trifled with you long enough.
So about a second and a half then. This sword really is quite nice. I like it. Very effective. Caius won't let you start working for him until you're level 3. We're level 5 at the moment, as I remember. That was what his comment about "I can see you're a seasoned adventurer" was getting at. If you're not at least level 3, he'll say, you know, you're too green to bother with, piss off and go and do some work or some crap like that. Where's that effect, certainly. Okay, so let's stick to the left-hand path. Ew. That looks like it's probably supposed to be lava, because as I remember, for some reason, lava's purple at the moment. So let's not jump into that. That'll be a messy and overheated death. So anyway, the dungeon is aimed for people coming here fairly soon after level 3. So it is not tuned to be super tough. And it looks like it hasn't been particularly messed with so far by modders, at least in terms of the difficulty scaling. Probably because, although the various tombs and things that I've poked my nose into are all elective, this one is actually compulsory. You have to do this to follow the quest. Oh yeah, more of these coins. I mean, they're good. So do I not have lockpicks? Dear. Don't remember guards taking lockpicks from me, but I don't seem to have any anyway. Do I still have a lock opening thing? I have plenty of pieces and hinging. It's a probe. It's good. 80 to 200. I like it historically, but I can't really justify the weight. That I certainly can. Well, have to hope that I find a lockpick or two somewhere, aren't I? I feel almost naked without them. Dearie me. What is the world coming to when guards run around taking implements of thievery away from you? Just another reason to build up a good head of resentment against the Imperials. Okay. Fine. Ah. Dwemer machines. Quite a few of them. Centurion spider, I haven't come across those before. So... Dwarven spiders I'm familiar with. Centurion spiders I do not remember. Fire swords though. That's nice. As is a golden pearl. Golden? Golden. Beware the gilded pearl, my boy. Cavany. I guess that's what the dwarves look like. Dwarven mace. Oh yeah, very nice. So, I'm not remembering much of this. Centurion Sphere. That's definitely a bigger boy. Dead male Imperial, the sure sign of modded content. Someone nameless. Extravagant armor, he looks great though, that'll be really nice to enchant. Modded broadsword, expensive shoes, common shirt. Bear leggings, huh? Yeah, 10 for 120. Might even want to consider those as armor. So I don't know how extensive this is going to be or how far out of the beaten path it's going to take me or anything, really. I know nothing. It's true, I know very little. Less and less, it seems. That's the way of age. Not so much you live and you learn as you live and you lose. Particularly in my case, your mind. Okay. Well, I'm not acrobatic enough to do anything particularly useful here. I don't think. No. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'll be back here from some other direction. And if not, I'll try to remember to pop back. It doesn't matter too much. I would think that if it was load-bearing, they'd make sure that either there was a way up or there was a scroll somewhere. Like, for example, up there, there's probably, or possibly, a chest or some sort of similar use it. But again, probably not load-bearing. I mean, I suppose it'd be a good place to train some acrobatics, but I don't see anything particularly tempting up there. So, that's fine. Burns blood. Steel iron door traps. We haven't been through that. Because I haven't done that. Weapon. Devil's longbow. Devil's spear. Poisoned rapier. No? Okay. Sword out. That helps. Oh, yes, good. Yes, that's definitely lava. Not sure why it's purple. Diamond? Black tourmaline. Sweet. Dwemer runes are often good for random bits of jewellery. Fine. Dwemer hat. Wow. 600. Okay. One arrow, I suppose. That's an expensive hat. Very fancy. Any way on? Nope. Ghosts and centurions. Oh my. Yes. Yeah, let's try that again, shall we? That's a better distribution of monsters. More ghosts, eh? You buggers paralyzing me? That's a little rude. Okay, so you're the difficult one. Very nasty. Time for another glass of guar milk, I think. Jinx ought to be a good weapon, but I don't do short blades yet. Time will come, but does not come now. I see, that's the difference. Pair prongs, yeah, that'll be useful. There's a diamond. I know what diamond looks like. Honest. Key. Repair hammer. Expensive greaves. Dwarven armor's pretty good if you can find a whole set, but it is quite chunky. I'm making out like Indiana Jones down here so far. Kill all the locals, steal all the things. That belongs in a museum called a shop. Special kind of museum where people can pay to take the exhibits away. They're all the rage, don't you know? So we appear to have come full circle. Okay, good. Have a key. That's handy. Keys are useful, particularly when you can't find any go-around lockpicks. And you shall know them by the trail of dead. I think this is the point of this wing, if I remember correctly. Go fetch that key. Yeah. Now, come into Weeping Bird. Oh, I can have a look at a map, can't I? Someone's gallery. Hall of Centrifuge, yeah, that's where we come in, so up the stairs. Right, yes. Yes. Okay. Fine. And I think that through this other half is where we start finding onward directions to where we need to get up to get to the puzzle box. I've not done this particular chunk of it. I am actually, due to a confluence of annoying factors that probably won't be visible in this video, running significantly out of time. Because there's been a number of visitors and other random disruptions, and I had to cut a chunk of this video out, and time it is a-passing. So I'm not sure how long this one's going to be in the end. Is there another door to the other side of this? No. Okay. So we need to get up there, but it's through this way somewhere. Well, We will get there, but we are not going to get there this week. Instead, I'm going to leave you here. And I hope you have a pleasant week, and that the world is kind. And when I'm assembling this video, I will try to remember to shout out the people who I recommend at the start, like Avak and Gab and Just Background Noise and Super Great Friend. And I'll see you next week. So until then, thanks for being here. I hope I've managed to provide a little distraction and maybe even a modicum of entertainment. And I mean, if you're still here, then please do at least consider leaving a like or some sort of comment, because it all helps the mighty algorithm decide to continue pushing my ludicrous videos in front of other people, and that's always nice. But either way, have a good time, and I will see you next time.